Hey guys, welcome to Time Gaming. I'm Jamie.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Alex.
And did you know it's been a little over 4 years since BioWare released their extended cut for Mass Effect 3?
Yeah, it feels like only yesterday that everyone was flipping their shit over it.
Yeah, the ending to that game wasn't exactly clear though, was it?
No, it even prompted several fans to come in with their own theories. Remember the indoctrination theory?
Yeah, well, it was plausible for a while until the extended cut shat all over it.
Thankfully, here we've got 6 other fan theories that could just about work.
Just about.
Just about.
We're starting this list with probably one of the most popular theories of recent years. We've already covered how dark Pokemon can get for what is essentially a kid's game, but as many were quick to point out in the comments, we were just scratching the surface. Whoa.
Oh, let's go deeper.
In 2010, a post appeared on 4chan from an anonymous source explaining just how far it goes.
Gotta be true then.
How far down the rabbit
4chan.
hole? Come on, how far down the rabbit hole?
Source, 4chan. Well, firstly, you have no father and your best friend is an orphan. Okay.
Sure.
Children seem to be able to wander around freely, and most authority figures are either your age or very old.
How dare children wander around freely? They should be corralled and put in pens.
The adults you do meet appear to be either associated with the military, police, or organised crime. Hospitals are everywhere, and Lieutenant Surge talks about being saved by electric Pokemon during the war. Suddenly, it all fits together. It's
like Tetris.
Like that 250-piece Lord of the Rings puzzle I did when I was in Cornwall. The reason why your mum allowed an 11-year-old boy to wander the world without supervision. You're living in the aftermath of a brutal war in your home province of Kanto. Most of the adult population was wiped out, leaving behind the children who were unable to fight. This would explain why there are loads of hospitals and gyms around with a heavy focus on training and recovery instead of, schools.
Yeah.
Like the things that children go to in the real life. Some speculate that Professor Oak is trying to find out which Pokemon survived the war and can only recruit children to do the work. Now, there are a few issues though. There's no hard evidence of a war, for example. No one, except that one line from Surge, ever really talks about it, but it's an interesting theory that would explain why handling clearly dangerous creatures is an acceptable pastime for preteens.
Yeah. Well, guys, on the topic of war, did you know that Donkey Kong Country can be considered a political essay on the negative influence of the United States in Central America?
This sounds pretty juicy, Chris.
Oh,
Let's hear some more.
juicy like
I'm scared.
like plums. Yep, that's right. This guy over here, good old Donkey Kong, is a political tool, a pawn, if you will, used to criticize American militarism. I wouldn't have thought about it either. Well, guys, let's go to the beginning, shall we? In 2012, the game theorists released an exhaustive look into the similarities between the banana wars of the late 19th and early 20th centuries and, of course, Donkey Kong.
Wait, so the banana wars were
A real fucking legit thing.
And Donkey Kong loves bananas.
For example, the plot is based on a monarch stealing bananas from the native people of another country. I mean, sounds familiar. The alligator doesn't eat bananas, which implies he wants them for financial reason, either by selling them or starving the Kong family out of their homes. Relocation.
Or to lure monkeys to him, and then he's an alligator, so he'll just snap their head off.
So this corresponds with American President Teddy Roosevelt, who was frequently described as a king in all but name, and his policy of supporting the United Fruit Company militarily in their campaign of land grabbing in several Central American nations, including Cuba, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. The final confrontation with King K. Rool takes place on a pirate ship, apparently reflective of the style of gunboat diplomacy used in the Caribbean. Alright, okay, so far, so circumstantial. However, large sections of Donkey Kong's land appear to have been turned into industrial wasteland, and several enemies appear to feature in suspiciously military-looking clothing. It's all a bit odd considering the alligators only stole bananas. Unless they really are an allegory for US imperialism.
I'm gonna be honest here. When I played this when I was like 10, I missed all of this.
Not convinced? What about the boss that was just a giant barrel of oil? I mean, come on. If you think about it hard enough. Is Donkey Kong a thinly veiled attack on America? Let us know in the comments below.
Okay, invading a country to take their bananas isn't the nicest of moves.
It's bananas.
It's bananas. But honestly, who hasn't done that before? I know I have.
Well, yeah.
Still, I'm confident in saying barely any of us have been kidnapped by furries.
Well, there was one time.
Those furries.
Jamie once got molested by a furry.
I think we've all been molested by furries.
I
But just
haven't.
not kidnapped by furries. Taken away to an island and forced into slavery to a loan shark who we cannot escape. Welcome to Animal Crossing, you'll never fucking leave.
Animal Crossing.
It's like the Hotel California.
I'm noticed
Welcome
something
to
already.
Animal Crossing.
According to Brett Ellison of Games Radar, everything from the beginning of the game suggests that your character has been abducted by a cult. You wake up in a dimly lit, bare room, giving the impression of having been whacked around the head and dragged there. You're then quickly bundled into an empty bus in the middle of the night and taken into a small town where you're the only human. The mayor and almost everyone says that they're excited you're there and they'll be watching you. Not creepy at all. Worst of all is Tom Nook, the rat-faced shitbrick that gives you a rundown shack for an outrageous fee that you spend days to pay off with thankless tasks. Kind of sounds like slavery to me.
Sounds like everyday life, really.
Sounds like a mortgage.
When you do pay him off, however, he just upgrades your house, forcing you back into slavery. As you wander around, it turns out you're not the only one. Sable is forced to work 24 hours a day by her sister Mabel, and Brewster, the, I want to say pigeon?
Yeah.
Appears to be an alcoholic escaping a miserable past. Nothing ever stops. You can never escape. You are stuck working for pennies for the rest of your life, which if you're lucky, will be short. So thanks, Brett, for thoroughly spoiling what was once a charming tale of subprime mortgage rates and the crushingly slow death of the soul that an adulthood full of repetitive tasks brings.
Heavy, man.
Final Fantasy VIII had a lot to prove when it was first introduced to the world in 1999, given how highly the fans thought of Final Fantasy VII, Chris especially.
I do love Final Fantasy VII, but you know what? Final Fantasy VIII? Great game.
Yeah. To depart from Cloud and the gang, the players were introduced to Squall as he attempted to deal with his feelings for Rinoa, while at the same time dealing with the time-bending sorceress Ultimecia. You know, typical teenage drama, we've all been through it.
Yeah.
The problem is that during one of his first encounters with Ultimecia, using the body of a deer, she stabs him with an eye shard, just like Sub-Zero, which generally puts a spanner in the works.
Yeah, I mean that would kill a bitch.
The earliest mention of this fan theory that we could trace dates back to 2001 and says that instead of Squall surviving the attack, he succumbs to his wounds. Ooh.
So, Jamie, what about the rest of the game?
I'm glad you asked, Alex. Well, it's simply Squall's brain frantically trying to process information and survive while running out of oxygen.
Like near-death experiences?
Sure. Now, what about the evidence for this? Firstly, there's a giant fucking ice shard through his chest, which is usually a good indicator.
You can't ignore that one. Yeah.
Secondly, after the encounter, and despite falling off a platform, Squall wakes up with seemingly no wound and no recollection of how he got there. It's never explained and not mentioned again. Now, most people believe Dadir brought Squall back for interrogation, yet he's only been with his organisation for 2 weeks, so what would he know?
When the Christmas party is.
Another piece of evidence seems to be that, according to the website SquallIsDead.com, check it out, everything takes on a more dreamlike feel. The Mumbas, happy ending, the whole it was all a dream bit.
I always get a happy ending in my dreams.
Oh my god.
Gross. Finally, as Squall's brain finally works through the last seconds of life, he wins and drops to the ground exhausted. A series of images then appear, including blurred faces, recalling back to that first assault on a deer, images flashing past eyes, and this horrifying split-second shot of Squall. His memories are dying, as his brain is dying. Finally, we see the idealized ending, representing heaven. I could go on, but it's making me tear up a little bit talking about it, because you know what? I played Final Fantasy VIII. Seriously.
Yep, death is a strong feature in most of these fan theories, as people try to come up with elegant solutions for things being there, or not, as the case may be. But what about Mario?
Don't you dare say Mario's dead.
Oh, well, listen, Mario surely can't be tainted by death and ruin, right?
Right.
You'd be wrong. Because according to Samuel Earl 666 on Reddit, the most reputable source of Mario fan fiction.
He worships Satan. He must be a good source.
There we go. According to him, Mario has a nasty habit of collecting the souls of the dead for money.
He's the devil.
He's the Grim Reaper.
Let's start from the beginning with Super Mario Bros. Numero Uno. The instruction manual explicitly states that the inhabitants of the Mushroom Kingdom were changed into bricks. So firstly, this means that Mario spends the whole game smashing into the dead bodies of toads. I mean, that's kind of grim. Secondly, what does that make the coins Mario finds inside the blocks? Well, according to Sam, they're the souls of the dead. With the aid of another Reddit user, Salmon Taxi, Samuel Earl explained that normal coins couldn't buy him an extra life or more HP, so how does it work if not through some kind of blood magic ritual or soul harvesting side business deal with the devil? In later games, even boos have coins in them, implying that they are part of the disembodied spirit of a former creature. Later in the game, the coins begin to decrease in number, which Sam explains is evidence of a rescue operation. A lot of toads started out to rescue the princess, but as more died and were turned to blocks, fewer were left to get as far as they did. The dwindling coin supply indicates a massacre that, eventually petered out. Suddenly, I understand why Toad is flipping you off in every single castle. You desecrated their fallen soldiers. Bastard.
Okay, from the earliest game on the list to the latest. Bloodborne by From Software was the widely anticipated 2015 departure from the Dark Souls series. Set in the gothic-looking Yharnam, your hunter was tasked with eliminating the source of a blood plague, ravaging the city. Not in the good ravaging way, in the bad ravaging way. Yeah, blood is a common theme in the game, with practically everything called blood something, as you'd expect from a game called Bloodborne. It's basically a blood-based economy. Drinking blood can even offer healing benefits instead of, hepatitis. However, Redditor Lucatil Knight noticed that the blood you were so happily throwing over yourself may even be a bit creepier than that. You might be drinking menstrual blood. Let's examine the evidence.
Nothing weird here.
You drink blood vials to heal and often receive them from women. Coincidence? Maybe.
Yeah.
How about the fact that Ariana doesn't provide you with any more vials once pregnant? Interesting. How about the fact that the elderly lady you bring to the church doesn't give you anything either? Intriguing.
Okay.
Also, the Healing Church chooses particular women to act as vessels of blood and are groomed as blood saints. Odd naming choice, but still, let's say you're not convinced. The game really likes to talk about moons and cycles, both euphemisms for periods, and as Kotaku pointed out, the bone shards also look suspiciously like bloody tampons. That's pretty disgusting. Also, there is a boss, cage, and location, all with the suffix of mensis. Mensis is close to menses, which is Latin for, you guessed it, menstruation. Need I say more? Case proved.
Well, that was our list of 6 of the most convincing fan theories in video games. Did we miss any, or has all this talk of periods made you want to take a shower? Let us know in the comments below.
And while you're there, why don't you leave a like and a subscribe, you little bastards?
And if you want more creepy theories about beloved classics, check out our list of 6 surprisingly dark kids games, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
I've got some bananas in my van,
You are weird. Stop stealing baby monkeys with bananas.
Why do you even own a van?
I live in a van.